Kia ora koutou, and welcome to Ōtautahi City Voices, where we listen to Ōtautahi during the COVID-19 pandemic by interviewing city makers and community leaders. We're interested in hearing from a diversity of voices about what people have discovered when we were under lockdown and how it either influenced or galvanised their vision for Ōtautahi Christchurch. I'm Jessica Halliday. I'm the director of Te Pūtahi Centre for Architecture and City Making. Today, I'm talking with Mia Sutherland, a leader in climate action and the youth sector here in Ōtautahi. Kia ora, Mia. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being part of Ōtautahi City Voices. Can you please start by telling us who you are, what you do, and what your passion is?
Yep, so I'm a first year university student. I'm studying law and science. I'm passionate about climate change, women's rights, and youth development in Christchurch especially. A big part of me choosing to stay in Christchurch was because I love to see the city develop and grow, especially while I've been living here. So that really was a big factor for me to choose to stay here for my studies. So yeah, I'm really passionate about the city and what we can do to make it a better place.
Awesome. So what part of Ōtautahi were you in lockdown in?
That's a funny question. We actually moved house during lockdown. Yep. So first half I was in Cashmere and now I'm in Hoonhay, Westmoreland area. So
That must have been really strange.
It was a very interesting experience. I didn't think moving house could get much more stressful, but try doing it in a pandemic, I guess. That was interesting. But we did it.
Well done. So what have you discovered or learned about our city during lockdown?
I think a big part of lockdown for me was just seeing how quickly everything just transformed, how quickly everyone just had to shut down in a matter of, what was it, like 48 hours. So seeing that from a university point of view, a working point of view, just seeing how everything just had to pretty much say like, sorry, we've changed everything, and all the different groups I'm in, just seeing how pretty much everything just had to stop. So being able to see how, yeah, everything could just come to a halt pretty much overnight was a really strange experience for me, I guess, especially in probably one of the biggest years of my life, first year university. It was really interesting. But a more positive thing that I've seen is probably how passionate people are about supporting local businesses and New Zealand businesses. There's been a lot of outreach and support for everyone in Christchurch, really, I think. And you've seen it on social media, you've seen it in the media, people just wanting to help each other, which I think is a really nice part of Kiwi culture, really, and just human understanding, is that we should be helping one another in trying times, which I thought was really nice to see. It gave me a little bit of hope in quite a dark time, I guess.
And so what has surprised you about this time?
I guess along the same sort of vein, just like how quickly we can act in times of crisis and how that could be applied to so many different scenarios in New Zealand. Another thing personally though was I think I just realized sort of how short life is. I think because everything got put on pause exactly where we all were. There was no going forward or changing really. We all just had to deal with our lives as they stood there and then. And I sort of realized, is this, some of these paths I'm going down, is this really where I want to be going? So it was good to be able to reflect on that and just sort of reshape my life and rethink about what my values are. And I guess I never really expected that to come out of lockdown. But yeah, both of those were probably the biggest surprises I had.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been both an internal and a social experience that you are aware of something deeply personal, but also this wider these wider social values coming out of care for each other.
Mm.
So given that, what are your post-lockdown fears, or what are you most worried about?
I guess for me, I'm very lucky in that I do have a pretty stable job and my family can take care of me if I were to become unemployed. But employment is a big thing, and worry about what's in store for the next 5 years as I study, and how the world's going to look at the end of my study and where that's going to go, and all the people around me, what their employment's going to look like. And I guess another big fear is that we're going to just go back to normal after all this is done, and we're going to see crises happen again and again. I really hope that this sort of will make us realize that we do need to be ready for these sorts of things in such a globalized world, and that we should be taking action on things that seem so far away. I remember back in January hearing about the virus on the radio and sort of thinking like, oh yeah, you know, never expected it to be here, and however many months ago it was. So I think thinking about different things that are threatening us and how we can adapt or try to prevent them is a really big thing. Obviously alluding to climate change here, but a whole lot of different issues that we're seeing.
So what is it about business as usual or going back to things being normal that makes that a fear for you?
I guess just seeing how the way that we've been living so far just isn't working, and the way that we have been conducting our lifestyles, especially in the Western world, that has really caused so many issues, not just for us now, but also for people all across the world, not even limited to consumerism, but just every way that we conduct our lifestyle seems to be unethical or unsustainable in some way. And it's been good to see a little bit of attention brought to that during the lockdown, but I just hope that when, you know, I'm older and when I'm working, that I can have more hope for our world being more fair for everyone.
So given that, what does this experience lead you to hope for or dream for Ōtautahi? Has your vision for the city changed, or has it really been galvanised?
I think it's been strengthened a lot, considering a lot of my vision for the city has been more sustainable transport, especially given it's such a flat city and so easy to get around if you wanted to bike or walk. Seeing so many people now biking or walking has shown me that, you know, what seemed to be such a radical vision is actually quite doable if everyone I think people have just been shown that they can make a change. And I really hope that that means that people in Christchurch can realise that they can really make a change to their lifestyles if they want to, not just if they have to. So I really hope that we can see a bit more reform, especially coming from the council. It'll be great to see them encouraging a reform of the city's lifestyle and values.
So your dream for Ōtautahi being strengthened, one that's more a place that is perhaps easier and more natural to live a more sustainable life. What are you, I know you're very busy, you're involved in lots of things, so what are you currently contributing towards that dream or hope for the city?
I mean, both in my own lifestyle, just trying to live by example, as well as doing things within groups, the Christchurch Youth Council, within School Strike for Climate and other climate related groups. There's been a whole lot of talk about what kind of actions we might be doing. I don't know if I can say exactly right now, but there's a whole lot of planning and stuff in the works at the moment, which I'm really excited to get involved with once lockdown's over. But obviously at the moment it's a little bit touch and go. But the big thing for me at the moment has been able to have time to really strengthen living by example and focusing more on that, which has been great, which is something I always try to do, but having a little bit of time in lockdown made it a little bit easier to do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mia. It's been really good to hear from you today. So how do people find you or the organisations that you work with online?
So my Twitter handle is at Mia Suth, so MIASUTH. And yeah, I can be contacted on there pretty easily, I believe.
Super.
Otherwise, yeah, the Christchurch Youth Council and School Strive for Climate are both on Facebook.
Great. Thank you so much. And thanks to those of you who are watching or listening. Please do send in your feedback, share your views or your vision for Ōtautahi now. We'd love to hear from you. And so it's goodbye from Mia.
Thank you so much for having me.
And it's goodbye from me. Ka kite anō.